What is going on, everybody? This is the point of the show where I yell, wake up, but I'm not going to yell, wake up, because, it's 7:35 in the evening, but we're live right now on YouTube. This is our Monday podcast, but again, live here on YouTube. So we are fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Their promo code is Warchant15. That'll get you a discount on some of their great blended coffees. Meanwhile, Gene's here, everybody. Corey's here. I'm scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Our promo code, FSU Spring 2021, 50% off an annual membership for first-time subscribers and a $25 e-card at Garnet and Gold. But a little bit more of a special flair to today's program, right, Gene?
Yes, this is something that Corey and I have been talking about for a while. This is kind of a test run. We would have promoted it more. It looks like it is working properly. We went through the YouTube hoops. And so anybody who tips in this show, 100% of those tips is going to go to the second harvest of the Big Bend. That is a charity. I'm going to hopefully put that up here. You can see it. And there's a nice thing. I looked this up. This is for, people in need in the Big Bend area around Leon County and other counties. It goes to homeless shelters, children's homes, domestic violence, people that need help, need meals. It goes to that. And I was telling Corey, we like to research and make sure this is a good charity. Has 100% perfect score. For every $2 donated, that creates a meal for somebody in need. So that's a pretty good price right there for that. So we're going to try doing more of this in the future. We're going to promote it more in the future, but we kind of want to do it, just make sure it works out properly. And the nice thing about this is YouTube usually takes a big cut of the percentage when you qualify for a charity. 100% goes to the charity, so they don't get their grubby hands on it. So that is a wonderful thing.
Take that.
And we'll be back. We'll be back next week to the Aslan House Fund.
Yeah.
But obviously this week is something a little more important. And yeah, this is something I've wanted to do for a while. We've wanted to do, like Gene said. So it's cool, man. You guys are so generous and have been so generous. We kind of had the idea, like, how can we help other people besides Aslan? How can we help other people in this world and in this community particularly? And this is a really good charity to start with. They'll probably cycle back on the rotation here, but we don't plan on stopping at just 1 or 2 or 10. We're going to be doing this as long as we're doing a show.
Yeah. And just some people I know might be like, why don't you guys donate the money to Seminole boosters, help the people that are helping you? We did try that. That was a plan. But the NCAA is your hands than YouTube. So it was a little bit of a difficult sort of thing to go ahead and make happen. But maybe at some point down the road. But you folks support your Noles with your showing up to games, your attendance, and all that kind of good stuff. So with that said, spring game is April 10th, but we're going to talk about March, man. It's March Madness. Bracket was dropped. But I guess before we get there, Corey, 2 shots at winning an ACC title, regular season or a conference tournament. Would have been a bit of a historic accomplishment. Not done. It did not happen for Florida State. Obviously losing to Notre Dame last week and then falling short to Georgia Tech last night. Bit of a bummer, but I don't know. I'm ready to turn the page. I don't know how many people are. I love the way the bracket laid out, but I guess before we get there, just your thoughts on falling short against Georgia Tech on Saturday night.
Yeah, in reality, it was 3 different chances. If they could have held on to the 16-point lead against North Carolina, they win the ACC regular season. So 3 Saturdays in a row, they blew a chance to put up a banner. And that doesn't mean they can't put up another banner this year. There's still a couple things out there to win, some big ones. One big one to win, but getting to a Final Four, another Sweet 16. There's a lot to accomplish. But yeah, man, it was just a disappointment because it's set up for you. You were set up. All you had to do was win 2 of your last 3. 1 against Notre Dame, who was terrible, and you couldn't do it. And then you only had to win 1 game in the ACC tournament. Now, it was a tough game against North Carolina, but you only had to win 1 game to get to the championship game. And then you literally give it away with the sloppy turnovers. You just give it away. I mean, Leonard seemed crestfallen's too strong, but he was really upset. And because he knew that there was a chance that as much as this team's been through with the COVID stoppages and the sacrifices that have had to be made all across the country to even play a season, they had a chance to make this season a special one. And they still do, but they blew 2 opportunities to be named to win the ACC championship. So that's going to be something that could last with them for a long time, unless the next 2 weekends go really well. And then you're right. I think everything is forgotten if they have a couple good weekends.
Gene, have you changed your voicemail greeting to have an uplifting, positive message like Josh Pastner's 2.5 Tony Robbins self-improvement?
That was 2.5 minutes I lost in my life. I'm not getting back having to listen to that. You know, I was obviously incredibly frustrated. I think the last few games, as Corey pointed out, I mean, to set a record in the tournament for 20, was it 25 or 24 they ended up with, Corey?
25. They got Raekwon Evans got the last one in there in the final 10 seconds.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right.
25.
When they got the so that setting the record in tournament. I guess that was, look, the ACC would have been nice. I thought they were going to at some point, like you said, they had multiple opportunities. I thought they'd get it. That would have been really nice for Leonard Hamilton. But at the end of the day, we want to see him make a run in the dance. I think that's the most important thing for this team. The problem with it is not that you didn't win the ACC. It's just how they played about the last month. It just has not been good. And I don't know how far can they go, but MJ Walker had 8 turnovers this game against North Carolina. He had 6. He had a couple threes there in the second half, but he's just not he hasn't played well for a while. And I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on, but really, I'm curious of your guys' opinion. How far can this team go if you have a 50% MJ Walker out there?
Well, let's look at the bracket and figure that out, right?
Yeah, you got the bracket there. So, they started with UNC Greensboro, who I did a little research on. They were 21-8. Looks like they're not a good 3-point shooting team, which is a relief for Florida State fans. They do shoot a lot, but they only make right at 30%. They average about 7 made threes a game, not 14. So they'll shoot a lot more than normal, I'm sure, against Florida State, and you just got to hope they don't get hot. Colorado doesn't scare the tar out of you. Neither does Georgetown. And then, honestly, Michigan's really good as the 1 seed, but Michigan might not have their best player. He has a stress fracture in his foot. Mm-hmm. And they just found that out a couple of days ago. So maybe if you do match up with Michigan in 2 weeks from now, Isaiah Livers might not be available. And then they didn't look good in their tournament game that they lost on Saturday. So, it's probably the least intimidating number 1 seed only because Livers isn't playing. If Livers was there, Michigan's great. So you got a chance, man, to make some noise for real. But you're right. Like, if you play terribly, that's the thing with this team. Like, legitimately, I could see them getting to the Elite 8, and I could see them not making it to the second round, like, depending on how they play. Usually they answer a poor performance with a good one, so we'll see. And MJ Walker gets another week to rest. He does have tendonitis, so he is not 100%. Anthony Polite is not 100%. Malik Osborne's not. Boss has got something up with his hand, with his thumb, but man, there aren't many teams that are 100% in March. It's just not how life works in college basketball. But you do have a chance to do something special. You blew 2 opportunities. I don't know how else to say it. You blew them, but that doesn't mean the season's over. You could still make amends. And look, man, they're good enough to win 4 games in a row and get to the Final Four. They are. It's hard to imagine them playing consistently well 4 games in a row because, like Gene said, we haven't seen that in a while, but it can happen. But you just can't – it's not just – like, I get that Georgia Tech probably fouls a little bit when you go up, when you drive near them, when they slap at the ball. They're probably getting some skin. Well, but they're not calling it. So, like Leonard said afterward, you got to be stronger with the ball. If they're not calling it, they're not calling it. That doesn't give you an excuse to just fumble it away. And it wasn't always just those turnovers. It was the ridiculous bad passes that were unforced turnovers, which were really frustrating because Florida State shot well. They shot well enough to be ACC champs, and they blew it because of the turnovers. But you hope that was a one-off, and we'll never see anything like that again because that was horrendous. But, yeah, if they turn the ball over 25 times in another game this season, they ain't winning that one either.
Even with Livers, I still feel like Michigan, that's the most favorable one. I mean, you avoided – I want no part of Gonzaga. I want no part of Baylor. Illinois, I think Brad Underwood, man, that's a guy that when he was at Stephen F. Austin seemed to always pull off an upset or two when he was with the Lumberjacks. Juwan Howard is his first time helming a team in the tournament. Things get a little bit different. LSU with Will Wade. I really like that side, man. I know Georgetown's a hot team because they won the tournament, but I watched Colorado play in the Pac-12 tournament. I was not all that impressed, and I'd rather take a team like Georgetown that really had no shot at making the tournament other than catching fire in their conference tournament than maybe a team that's like Florida State that's coming off maybe losing 2 of their last 4 or 5 games. So I think it lays out nicely. I mean, my brother said it. You kind of said it there too, Corey. They can lose to anybody. They could also win the national title. I still think they'll get out of the first weekend. I don't know. LSU, Michigan, those 2 teams I think are pretty tricky for Florida State, but I'm not fearful of it. But I feel good about them getting out of the first weekend, and that's all you really get out of the first weekend. Then it's a whole new ball game. To your point, they don't have to play consistently for 4 games. It's got to play 2 good games get a week off, come back, play 2 more good games.
Yeah, and the tournament is set up differently this year. For those that don't know, it's not the normal Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They pushed it back a day. So the first day is Friday, then Saturday, then the next rounds are Sunday and Monday. So Florida State, presumably, I guess, could be playing a second round game on Monday afternoon. Like they're going to have to be some afternoon games. So they could be playing on Monday afternoon. And then the regional finals, the Sweet 16, which normally starts on Thursday, will be pushed back to the next Saturday. So there's going to be some time in there. It's just going to be a different layout. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, they can win the whole. They can win. I don't know if I can say they can win the whole thing. They can get to the Final Four. They can also, like I said, get bounced in the first or second round because they've shown that inconsistency. And MJ Walker just has to play better. If MJ Walker is this MJ Walker, they have no shot of doing anything special, in my opinion. Let's see what a week off does. He had some moments in that game in the second half. He had some nice drives. He hit some big shots. It was just the turnovers were inexplicable. And if he can cut them down to like 3, and Scotty Barnes can cut them down to 2, then you're winning that game. And MJ Walker made some big shots. But it troubles me what he's doing on defense, too, because he's not moving like a normal MJ Walker on defense. But, again, he's got a week off, a week to get healthy, ish, and you go from there. And it's his last shot. It's Scotty Barnes' only shot. Let's hope they do something, memorable.
And I think, Corey, you're probably, assuming FSU gets by that first round, you're probably rooting for Georgetown, right? Don't you want to see Patrick Ewing out there coaching for Georgetown? I think that'd be fun to have FSU go up against his team. And I want to throw up, by the way, we get kind of a running list of the posts that go through on Facebook and YouTube, and we're not getting the donations. They are coming through on YouTube. We appreciate it. We're already up to $290 donated.
Wow, really?
To the Second Harvest of the Big Bend. If you go to the YouTube page, it has a running total at the top. And it just the donations are popping through there. So we're doing great, guys. So appreciate that. Again, I'm just want to remind people, every donation, every tip you make, 100% goes to the Second Harvest of the Big Bend, feeding the hungry in the Leon County area. So it's very much appreciated.
I think I can pull this up here. Actually, wait, it's showing something different. I don't know. Where do I go on that? I don't know.
Well, if you go to our YouTube page, like the channel itself, it shows a lot of anonymous donations. We appreciate it. I see Phil B did $20. Bob Rathman did $100. Thank you, Rob. That's fantastic. And like I said, 100% of this goes directly to them. We don't get it. YouTube doesn't get it. It goes straight to the charity.
Okay. All right. It's fantastic. Hey, let's take a phone call. I'll see if I can pull that up so we can celebrate a little bit more apropos of things. It's none other than Gator Kirk, Mr. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Noles coming off a good series win in Blacksburg this weekend. Gator Kirk, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
What's up, buddy?
Doing well, Gator Kirk.
Yeah, the baseball team was pretty impressive today. No, the only day they weren't impressive was yesterday. But anyway, I think basketball, our last 2 games, we probably had more turnovers than assists. So obviously we need to correct that. But I appreciate what y'all are doing for everyone and all the donations. Taking the donations for charity. Helping people reach out who might not have any other means to do that. I appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, sorry. You're good, Gator Kirk. I tried to pull up the page and it echoed you, so that's why I was being all off. What's on your mind, man?
I'm gonna ask. I will ask a question. What do you have a favorite non-football question that you would like to ask a player?
Oh, all right. So you're talking about the football team. So a question to a football player, but not about football. Ooh, there's so many. They'd give us the truth. They'd give us a real answer.
I'm trying to keep it PG because there's some things I can think about. How much fun football.
Yeah, I mean, those stories,
campus.
I mean, can you imagine those stories? I'd probably, if we were at a bar, I might ask a few of those stories. But I think, I'd want to know, like, I've always thought if I was built like literally almost any Florida State player, like Jamie Robinson. So if I had Jamie Robinson's body, I would look in the mirror all day. I wouldn't do anything else, but I guess work out, eat carbs, get my protein, and look in the mirror. I'd want to know, like, legitimately how often, just because I'm curious, do these guys that have that kind of do they look at themselves all the time? Just like look at this and flex and do all that? Or do they just like, oh, this is what I look like? I genuinely want a real answer. Like, how often do you just stare at yourself in the mirror? Aslan, how often do you stare at yourself in the mirror?
At least 3 times. When I wake up, because I just woke up, I'm dehydrated, so I'm nice and cut. That's when you guys should take your after photos and your before-after success stories. Kind of midday when I'm feeling a little bit down in the dumps, just kind of come in the mirror. But, hey, man, this is what we're rolling with. It's going to be all right. And then before bed, just to thank the good Lord for giving me some good genetics. So, guys,
nice.
Spit it out, 3 times.
Do you have a question you would ask? Is there a question you'd ask, like,
that's football related, man? No, I mean, the whole time I'm like, I want to ask him about Willie, but that's football related. I guess. I mean, is there recruitment football? And it is football related. Maybe to see if anybody offered them money, what their recruitment trips were. But otherwise, I guess if they could put something in the football only facility, what would it be? I know that's the football only facility, but like something that's not football related.
So you're going Corey's petting zoo or flight simulator in there?
Yeah. Maybe that's what I asked. What animal would you want in the petting zoo?
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
I think I just want to know, like, what is it like being on campus? I mean, in general, like when you go to a class, I mean, are you just like big man on campus walking around and girls come up to you? Are you getting, I wonder what is the life of a football star on a big college campus? What is that like? For reals.
And when's the last time you paid cover at a bar? When's the last time you paid for a beer at a bar? Because especially like Kermit Whitfield's never gonna, never after January 6th, never ever again. What about you, Gator Kirk? Is there like a specific player you'd want to ask the question to, or just in general, what would the question you'd ask to a football player that's not football related?
I'd ask how, like, someone on the same lines of, how is it to go out somewhere and just be recognized all the time? Does it sometimes become a little overwhelming? Do you wish you could kind of be anonymous and just not have everyone watching you and all of that?
You could ask me that.
Where they're.
Yeah, Corey. When Corey goes out, it's just like
it's ridiculous.
Here we go again. Poor Stephanie.
I know.
That's why he can't live in Tallahassee, because he would be mobbed everywhere he went.
Yeah.
That's right. I got to go where they don't know me. It's like George Clooney living on an island. It's like, I can't be in Tallahassee. I mean, that's crazy. It's a mob scene. I thought of another one I might want to ask is, and maybe more of an NFL player, but I would want to know how much they think we make for a living. Because I wonder, like, if like Jalen Ramsey has any real idea, the people that are asking him questions, how much money they make, and does he think they make like 200,000 or 300,000? Does he know it's probably closer to 40 or 50? Like, I would be really curious to know how aware they are of the pay in journalism. Not for us, but like AP writers and people like that. What if they have any idea what those people get paid?
There we go. All right, very well. Anything else for us on the way out, Gator Kirk?
No, but if we do get to play Michigan, all you got to do is say something to Juwan Howard, and you'll get a couple T's on him, because he's going to come after you.
Yeah, but don't talk to me.
I mean, that could be a strategy.
I mean, imagine if he wouldn't come in ham. He would know real recognizes real. Juwan wouldn't dare.
No chance he takes a step towards Leonard Hamilton. None.
Yeah. I would love to see CY come off the bench. CY just like, look, the enforcer, man. That'd be amazing. So. All right, Garrett Kirk, we appreciate the phone call, man. Thanks for getting us started off tonight.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. Appreciate everything you do. Support Warchant. Y'all have a great night.
That is right. Garrett Kirk from Virginia Beach, Virginia. If you're just joining us, if you see on the bottom scroll there, we do have a great promo running for warchant.com, but tonight is also about helping out folks in the greater Tallahassee area and the Big Bend. Corey and Gene have come up with a great idea to use this platform that we have to help out other folks. All the tips that we receive tonight, every last single penny of it will go directly to Second Harvest of the Big Bend, which helps those who are, undergoing difficulties in life. It helps put some meals on the table for a lot of people that need help. For every $2 that is donated to them, they're able to use that $2 to make a meal for somebody in need. So we appreciate you guys helping out. By all means, feel free to get involved if you like. But again, as you can see, all the tips tonight will go to Second Harvest of the Big Bend, and we'll be doing these plentiful more often than not. And maybe at some point, again, we'll be able to help out Florida State, but there's a whole bunch of bureaucratic red tape that we have to get through for that to happen. And maybe at some point, Habitat for Hudja Vandy will make its triumphant return. But in the meantime, let's get back to the phone lines. We got one more. We still got Gene hanging out for a little bit, so let's see how much longer we can get the big boss man to hang out with us. Caller, this is your 20th call on the show. I should know better who this is, but I quite don't. So can you identify yourself and let us know where you're calling from?
It's Chris from Perry, or the Pitmaster.
Oh,
hey, Chris.
All right, buddy. What's up, man?
Yeah, I've been MIA for a little while. Been busy.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. How you doing?
Well, first I just wanted to say, put everybody's mind at ease with basketball. If you were a fan or a coach on another team and you had Florida State on your schedule, I'm telling you, they're worried.
Yeah, that's a real good point. They're not fired up about that draw.
No, not at all.
Well said.
So I would say rest easy on knowing that you're at least going to keep them up at night. But what I wanted to know is if y'all have any indication as to what kind of capacity we're going to have during the spring game, and then maybe some early indication for the football season for the fans going to the actual games.
We've had some indications. I guess tickets are, it sounds like Monday or Tuesday tickets will be going for sale. I mean, I believe it's still limited capacity. I don't think it's full capacity. They have not released the actual figures yet, but I assume it'll be similar to what we saw during the football season, unless, Corey, you've heard something different.
I haven't, but I would think, for the spring game, it'll probably be what it was which was what was it, a third, a fourth? I can't remember. It was spacious. But it's also a spring game. So you're talking maybe 15, 16, 18,000. But I do think, man, I think the way everything is progressing in this country, I can't imagine a scenario where it's not full capacity by September. I just can't. I mean, I'm watching golf today. It looks like a regular golf tournament. I know it isn't, but it looks like a regular golf tournament. If you watch the Florida State, Virginia Tech baseball highlights, that looks like a real baseball. I mean, there's just people sitting all over each other. I just think that's the direction we're going. The Braves are already opened up to 30% capacity. There's a chance they host, and I only know this because I'm an Atlanta fan, and they host the All-Star game this year. They're still talking about maybe having full capacity for the All-Star game, and that's in July, so early July. So you have to imagine by September we're going to be the point where they're going to be selling. Every seat will be available. They'll be full capacity, right, Gene? I mean, that would be really surprising.
I mean, I'd be shocked. I've got a friend that works at Florida State. He's been virtual for a while, and he says they've told him May they're starting to process them in that month for them to all go back to work. So they expect by June to be basically at full capacity with the employment there. So I mean, if all your employees are filling up the buildings, I can't imagine they wouldn't have fans fill up Doak Campbell Stadium. Again, let's cross our fingers that nothing bad happens with this and everybody gets vaccinated and we're ready to roll. But all signs look very positive, so I think we'll be there. Maybe a little, like I said, maybe spring game. But if you want to go to the spring game bad enough, you can get in. I mean, 18,000. I mean, you can get into that.
Chris, if you cook for us, we'll let you in. We'll get you We'll get you a press pass. You can make something for us, man. Are you still planning on coming?
I'd like to. I mean, I haven't made any plans yet because, like I said, I didn't know what the situation was like. But I'd like to come down there. Yeah. All
right. Well, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Make maybe some corned beef sandwiches, but corned beef's not a good barbecue dish. Maybe it's like brisket. We'll up the ante on the Irish folk.
I cook a mean brisket. Did place fairly well last weekend at a competition for brisket. So
all right,
congrats.
Let's go.
You've sold us. We want it.
All right.
Hey, Chris, have we locked you in to be our official our griller for whenever our Warchant event happens, hopefully whether spring or maybe before the Notre Dame game? Have we locked that down?
Yeah, if you want to do that, just let me know. And
we'll be talking, man.
There we go. Award-winning barbecue from Chris in Perry, Georgia. It'll be on the menu, and then a victory en route to a 12-0 regular season. Let's go.
To a full stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to a full stadium. That's right.
All right, Chris, anything on the way out for us, man?
Yeah. If I was going to ask a player something non-football related, I would ask them what they'd be doing for a living if they weren't playing football.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
There you go. With NCAA, they're at 90% of
real good insight into their mindset.
Yeah, that's right. All right, very well. Good stuff. All right, Chris from Perry, Georgia, man, our pit master. Let's keep our fingers crossed for full stadium capacity in September and some delicious award-winning barbecue. Thanks for the call, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
There you go.
See you, Chris.
All right.
Woo, those donations are racking up.
Yeah.
We're up to. You going to flash that up for us?
We're over six. We're nearly $700.
Yeah.
Ray Prayer's in the house. Cat just dropped $75. A shout out Alex Simpson. Gator Kirk dropped $75. Fantastic, man. Awesome. Greg Glass, I don't know if you said it, dropped 100. Kurt Searcy with 20 bones. Anonymous folks have donated up to $70 thus far. This is amazing, man. Good stuff, man. Way to go, everybody. Way to rally around the Big Ben.
I knew they'd step up. Our listener, our watchers, our viewers, watchers. Is that the way they're called? The watchers? Our viewers, man, they're generous. It's crazy. So, yeah, this is awesome, man. This is just the beginning, too. That's really neat.
Make sure I don't mute this.
The watchers, our viewers.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to pull this up. It's like looking in a mirror through a mirror, and then like everything gets really weird. I think. Oh, see, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, it's a house of mirrors, like a fun house. But yeah, so you can see some of the folks here. Cat there with the nice dog icon. Ray in the crib, like I said. Alex, Gator Kirk. So again, thank you so much, everybody. If you're just joining us again, at the bottom of the screen, you can see all donations, all tips tonight are going to Second Harvest Food Bank of the Big Bend. Every single dollar that you see on your screen is going to them. It's not being taken out by us or YouTube or anything like that. So we're nearly at 700. So we'll be doing
Great job, guys.
frequently. Yeah.
Gals.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cat's in the house too. So, all right, Corey. Let me see here. I should probably I want to pull up the bracket, but I want to celebrate how great we're doing here. Do you think Michigan is the ripest one seed? Like when you did see it come out in the East region, I mean, obviously we were the last region to go. I mean, what was your initial feel, I guess, when you did see Michigan pop up as the one seed?
Yeah, out of those four, I think they're the most beatable. They're still very good even without that kid. It's not like Ohio State dominated them. It went to overtime, I think, or went down to the final possession.
Yeah.
But yeah, if their best player is either slowed considerably or out altogether, one of their best players, they got a big kid in the middle that's really good. They got a bunch of them, but that kid's the engine, and if he's not there, then yeah, man, they're gettable. They're even gettable for whoever like LSU, man. LSU, I don't know if y'all watched that LSU Alabama game, but holy moly, they're really talented offensively. They got some dudes that can just make shots and take over games. They also don't guard at all, but they do they do make it hard for your defense. So yeah, man, LSU could even get there. But again, it doesn't seem like that bridge is a little too far away to worry about right now. Like the way they played the last couple of weeks, you can't be thinking about a Sweet 16 matchup. Like, UNC and Greensboro, they'll be favored, and if they play well, they'll win. But then after that, I feel like it's a coin flip. Like even Colorado, who isn't anything special, they're good enough, and they've played good teams and they've beaten some good teams. So yeah, man, it's going to be. They won the Pac-12, I guess, right? Or no, they lost. They lost to Oregon State, but they beat USC, who's a good team. So anyway, yeah, no, it'll be. If they get to Michigan, you like your chances over them more than Baylor, Gonzaga, or Illinois.
I don't like the ACC this year, man. I know it's only like a 2-day sample size of what I was watching this week, but watching those Big Ten teams, even watching like Houston play Cincinnati, I'm just like, man, I don't think the ACC is anywhere near as good as some of these other conferences and some of these other teams. So I am a little bit concerned about that. But again, man, you get a mid-major auto bid team in Greensboro, and then Georgetown, Colorado's your for a trip.
Yeah, first two rounds. It's funny you said that, Aslan, because today I was sitting around with some friends watching the SEC championship game. And I get maybe they're not playing defensive except, but man, that seemed like really good basketball.
Playmaking.
Guys are hitting shots, they're not turning the ball over. They're passing well. It's good fundamental basketball. And I saw that there's a great semifinal game with Tennessee and Alabama too, and Alabama came back and won that one. But I'm watching this going, are they playing the same sport as Florida State in the ACC? Because it looks totally different when I watch that. I guess we'll find out soon if the ACC is really that bad, or maybe they're playing stellar defense and just making everybody look sloppy.
Yeah, I think it's some of that too. But yeah, man, Tennessee, Alabama, and LSU all have some dudes that'll be getting paid very soon to play basketball. And to answer Redbeard's question, he's asking why Raekwon Evans is still seeing so much playing time. He literally just brings the ball down and does nothing. Agreed. I don't want to bash the kid. I don't want to. I'm not here to do that. He's had some nice moments in his career. His confidence is a point now where he is a non-factor, and he does not help you in any way. In any way, he's not great defensively right now. And on offense, you're playing 4-on-5, and that can't be. He didn't play a ton against Georgia Tech, but when he did, he turned it over. The reason they're down 4-0 and have 4 turnovers to start the game, it's just it doesn't flow when he's in there. You have one of the best players you've ever had in Scotty Barnes. He'll be playing the majority of the minutes, obviously 32, 34 minutes as long as he's not in foul trouble. But Raekwon Evans, you got to start getting something out of that kid. Hey, maybe those technical free throws at the end broke the seal. They broke the seal. He got on the board. He is a good free throw shooter, and he's a big guard, so maybe he can wear down opposing guards. And maybe a team like UNC Greensboro is as big as he is, he can do some things against those guys and score some points in the paint or get second chance points, bully some smaller guards. But other than that, when he's playing guys his own size or close to it, he's been a liability for about a month and a half now. I think I stopped counting, but I'm pretty sure over the last 13 games he made 5 baskets total in 13 games. He's 5 of 33, something like that. It's just been awful. And if he gets hot, hey man, who knows? Who knows? But right now, he's clearly the second best Raekwon on the team. Clearly,
we're up to $810. That's
woo! You guys are coming through for us.
Positive.
Thank you.
I'm going to post this on the screen here. Erudite Monk. And I'm telling you, this means being crazy. This is our punishment. This is our punishment for talking about this team in January and asking, is this team better than last year's team? Is this team better than the 2019 team? I feel like we jumped the shark on this team, and now the basketball gods are making us pay for it. Because
buddy, they're a 4 seed. They're a 4 seed. But no, I tempered that, right? Even when we were having those discussions, I'm like, man, you can't lose Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams, and Trent Forrest and be better. They're playing exceptionally well right now, but I never believed it, truly. Those are elite talent. But that's not a bad question to ask about the 22 basketball team. It all depends if they're going to be the best he's had. It depends on Raekwon Gray. If Raekwon Gray comes back and he's been here 4 years and he is a prospect, I don't know when he's projected to be drafted, but he would be drafted almost assuredly. If he decides to come back to up his stock or to make a run at like a Final Four or an ACC championship, well, he already got one of those. But a player of the year, something like that, if he comes back, it's got a real chance because you got to figure Balsa will come back too. I mean, crazier things have happened, obviously. But Balsa, Raekwon, Scotty's gone, MJ's gone, Calhoun's back. And then what you have coming in, including the kid from Houston. And I love MJ Walker as a dude. He's been fun to cover. He's been great to my son at the basketball camp down there. But if Caleb Mills had been playing the last 3 weeks, the kid coming in from Houston, as opposed to MJ Walker, Florida State would be a 2 or a 3 seed right now, and I would think they'd be ACC champions, and they might be going on to they'd be a Final Four favorite. The kid coming in from Houston is legit. He goes and gets buckets when you need him. He makes tough shots. That's what he does. And he is an upgrade over the MJ Walker we've seen here lately. And I'm only saying that because MJ's been hurt. But Caleb Mills is the truth. Matthew Cleveland, the prospect they got coming in, along with Jalen Worley, those are high 4-star, 5-star guys, fringe, almost McDonald's All-American type players. Man, they got a chance, man.
Cleveland? Did you say Matthew Cleveland?
Yeah, Matthew Cleveland, the kid from Atlanta. He is a bucket getter. I think we're going to see Calhoun take a huge leap. And if Raekwon Gray comes back, man, I think if Raekwon Gray comes back with what they have left and coming in, I think it's a top 5 team to start the season. I think they will be loaded.
Corey, where do you think Raekwon would project if he went out? I mean, he's only a 3rd-team All-ACC, so apparently he's not very good. I was at least one of the few things on the broadcast I actually agreed with. 99% I couldn't stand listening to him. They did say it's a disgrace that Raekwon was 3rd team. Everything he does. But, I mean, to me, you look at his improvement. I mean, from what he was when he showed up to now, it's unbelievable how much more he's improved. But there still seems like there's room to grow. I mean, another year on this trajectory, if he does this, imagine what he could be in 2022. And then where's his draft stock? Where's his draft stock now compared to where it might be if he keeps on this path?
Yeah, I think the thing that he could really prove and make himself much more draftable, like maybe even lottery pick, like he could still get in even better shape. But also if he shoots the three better, he can shoot the three. We've seen it. He's got a nice touch. He's an 80% free throw shooter. He's got a shot. He's obviously a big bull there and a great passer. He didn't have hey, kudos to him for not having a turnover. He played 21 minutes.
He's the only one.
Because of foul trouble, and he didn't have a turnover. So good for him. And Wyatt Wilkes didn't have one either. So good job, guys. But yeah, with Raekwon, yeah, he can improve his stock. But then if he's also told, hey man, we're gonna draft, he saw Terrence Mann get drafted in the second round and Trent Forrest not get drafted at all, and he knows what their bank accounts look like now. Those are his buddies. So when you have buddies that have done that, some people are just ready to go start making money, and I get it. Especially if it's not a guarantee that you are gonna leap up 20 picks, and you aren't going to cost yourself, $4 million by going pro now. Like if there's no guarantee that you're going to shoot up the draft charts, a lot of people are just ready to go. So there is a chance he's leaving. But if he stays, man, they have a chance to be loaded.
Gene, you want to push off the dock and go home and send us off on our football voyage? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll let you guys finish your podcast, and just to give them the schedule this week. The next practice will be Tuesday, I believe. We will not be this one. We're not out there, unfortunately. So but we'll have the Zoom interviews with Mike Norvell, hopefully an assistant, and a couple players, and then Thursday, I think Aslan, that might be your opportunity because Corey will be gearing up for that trip to Indy. So I think this may be the one where I think we're going to let Aslan loose. Let him out there hang out with Ira. I'm going to be out of town for a couple days, so we'll let Aslan go ahead and take that one. So enjoy it out there, guys. And it's been fun. And good trip to Indianapolis, guys. And hey, thanks to everybody who's making those donations, man. We're over 800. What are we at?
$830 American dollars. $830.
Unbelievable. You guys are the best. Yeah. So keep it up. Good work, guys.
Thanks so much, everybody. That's Gene Williams, everybody, the founder and administrator of Warchant.com.
See you guys.
Keeping this thing moving along. Corey, so it was cool this week. So on YouTube, when you ban people on YouTube from your channel, they can still watch, they can still comment. It just won't pop up. But they don't have no idea unless they go on their buddy's computer and look and like, oh, where's my comment? It's not there. So I had to drop the hammer on a couple people. There's this one person that literally all they ever do is talk about finding Chubba Purdy out in public and have beat him up. Like, hey, I saw Chubba Purdy at the gas station last week. I beat him up. He's not going to be playing this year. Like, hey, I saw Chubba Purdy at the club. Beat him up. He won't. It's just bizarre. So he's gone. I threw another guy out. But there's another dude who's like walking on thin ice, but he uses his real name and posts. He actually has like a photo of himself. So I'll give you like a little more latitude if you do that sort of stuff. But he's like, why aren't I don't know if you were there. I wasn't. I saw the Friday video. They're still doing that 3-level Oklahoma drill. I don't like it, man. I still don't see the value in it. I'm not a fan of it. So, I mean, I'll be consistent. I don't know if I went and saw him doing Tuscaloosa. Maybe I changed my mind about it, but I still don't think I would. Not a fan of it.
I don't think they're not going to do it a ton. I don't think it's going to be a huge part of their practice. I think it was maybe 7 minutes of the day, maybe 10. It might have been 2 periods, but I feel like it was just a period and a half. But you got to be physical. I mean, you got to be physical somehow. It's a good, it's just a good competitive. It stokes some competitiveness, which I'm all about. I'm all about making these guys more competitive. Just if you've been around any sports team at all, the kids that are the most competitive, those are the ones you want on your team. Not the ones that are crazy, though. Not the ones that lose their minds, but the ones that have pride and are competitive. So I liked it. I enjoyed watching that. Jermaine Johnson was not blocked during that drill. And our man, who's 23, Sidney Williams.
Yeah,
man, he made some really nice tackles. He stood out, man. He flashed not only in the Oklahoma drill, because again, I don't know if you're aware of this, Aslan, but football's played on a patch of grass that's not just 5 yards wide.
Correct.
It's a lot further than that. I don't know how far. What is the width of a football field? It's like
60-something yards, I think.
60 yards? I wanted to say 57, but that's not right.
That might be better. That may be better. All right.
Or 47. Anyway, I should know that. But anyway.
106 feet.
206 feet?
160 feet.
Oh, so 53.3.
Look at this guy. How do you do that? How did you do that?
It's a gift, my man. It's just you divide 160 by 3. So I, that was fine. It was fine. They had some nice blocks and people got excited. It's what it is.
That can't be right. It can't be 13 yards wide.
No, 53 yards wide.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, 53 yards wide sounds about right. But yeah, overall, man, the defense,
53.
I'm tempering it. Quite obviously, I'm going to temper it and temper it and temper it. But they own those 2 days. They just did. They own those 2 days. And the DBs made plays. They flew around. They played with some intensity and some urgency, and it was fun to see. It was fun to see that. I think they had 4 or 5 takeaways in that second scrimmage that we were able to watch. And yeah, man, I just thought they played hard. They hit, although they're not supposed to be taking them to the ground. They hit, and they got a consistent pass rush. Which, again, you're a Florida State fan. Is that good news or bad news? Yeah. That defense has got a consistent pass rush. I don't know how you view it. I think it's good news because if they weren't getting any pass rush against this offensive line, that would be bad bad news moving forward.
All right. Ira's not here, so I saw what you posted about who you thought looked better playing quarterback, and it's a very bit of a marginal gap if there's anything to it, but he said Jordan Travis, Ira did, because that's what Ira does. Did you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I think so, for the most part.
You said McKenzie in your write-up. There are all these Jordan Travis people.
What I think is overall, if you're judging the totality of the 2 days, Jordan Travis was better. I thought McKenzie Milton looked better in 11-on-11, which, hey, that's probably what matters the most, right? Who's 7-on-7 or 1-on-1? That's not football, but that's not the football they'll be playing anyway. But in 11-on-11, I thought McKenzie just looked a little bit more comfortable in the pocket, making a little bit quicker reads. But Jordan Travis is in this competition, man. It was not, judging from those 2 days, it's not just head and shoulders one guy's above the other. In fact, I made this joke with Ira. It's like if you just walked in there to practice and had no idea who any of the quarterbacks were, just the way he looks in his form, you would think Milton was the walk-on. Yeah. Just the way he throws the ball. He kind of shot puts it a little bit. He's small. He's a small dude compared to the linemen that are standing around him. But then when you see him play, you obviously know he can play a little bit. He made some throws, I thought, on the 3rd and long situational drills in practice that were impressive. Got rid of the ball quick, middle of the field. That's where you can live if you're a good quarterback, is the middle of the field. But Jordan Travis made some nice plays, man. He's not out of the running by any stretch.
I wonder if someone dropped you like on Alabama's practice field in Tuscaloosa, but they just wore white. Everything was white jersey, white pants, white helmet, or black helmet, black top, black pants. You couldn't see everyone's wearing a visor. You don't see Nick Saban. Like, I wonder if you could be on that field and notice, like, this is one of the 5 best teams in the country. I just wonder, like, what is because I'm just looking at all I've been able to see are, like, 3 minutes worth of video. You saw 2 practices. I don't know if it feels any better, if it looks any better. Does it look like a more physically developed team? Does it look like, or is it like, yeah, this is probably a team that's going to win 7 or 8 games? Or is that just way too early to even stab at something like that?
It's always hard for somebody of my stature to comment on the physicality, the physical prowess of other people that are so much bigger and stronger than I could ever dream of being. But it wasn't like, golly, this might be a top 5 team. They might surprise a lot of people. I don't think it was. It looked like a team to me, and not just the physicality or anything, or the speed. I just think it looked like it could be a 7 or 8 win team. Okay. The offense has to get better. More than anything, the receivers got to start doing some stuff, man. And we know Pokey can play a little bit. We know Keyshawn can play. These other guys got to really step up. They just have to. And so far, Portier is the guy that I've really concentrated on. He's had 3 horrific drops and 1 incredible catch. And you got to flip that, man. Like, you could have 1 horrific drop and 3 incredible catch. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to drop some. But you can't be dropping touchdowns. And Dillingham yelled at that. And this was on a 1-on-none drill where it's just him, the receivers practicing running basically go routes, and the quarterbacks are practicing lofting it up for him to go get it. And it was a perfect throw, I think, by Rodemaker that hits him right at the goal line and deflects off his hand. And Dillingham yells, "That's 7 points." Like, you have to go catch the ball. And he had a couple drops in the practice before. But then at the end of the practice on Friday, he had an incredible catch over Akeem down the sideline. Just a great catch. So that's the kind of stuff that pulls you in. Like, man, there could be something there. There could be something there. But right now there's no consistency, and that's not completely surprising because they're all so young.
Redbeard, we're over $900. Everybody, you're doing awesome. Awesome. Redbeard says, have you caught all the Travis Hunter clips going around Twitter today? He's something special. Boy, I hope we can keep him. This is from yesterday. There's a photo of him like going up in the air and catching a pass. That's pretty nice.
That's not even the one. The one that was crazy was the one in the back of the end zone, like when they were at the 10, where I think he one hands it maybe, and just leaps over. I mean, just goes like 7 feet in the air to make the catch. It was crazy. So yeah, man. You know, if they keep him, he's going to be something in some capacity. He might play both ways. Who knows? He might kick. Whatever he wants. If he wants to play basketball, like I said, Leonard needs a spot for him. If he wants to, he can play center field. Meat needs to tell him he can play center field. Whatever it has to take to get him on campus, because they haven't had a lot of Travis Hunters around here lately.
I just picked one off. Yeah, I can't find it. You guys, they got to do a better job of advertising. These kids are so look at me. Like, do a better job of promoting your number one stuff, man. It's just there's like 5 clips. You got too many highlights, Travis. Got too many highlights. I can't sift through all of them. Hey, last thing on the football front, Jermaine Johnson. So are you more like, hey, this is awesome, or more like, oh no, the offensive line is not that good anymore?
No, well, it was never that good anyway. It is, you know, you hope it's better. This isn't it either. Is this another Travis Hunter clip?
Yeah.
That looks like the same catch. No, yeah. I mean, he's look at that. He didn't even fall down. Good dance move. Was that the Carlton? I don't know what that is. But yeah, he's
shake, man. I thought it's a Gwinnett shake, but what do I know?
Yeah, he's something else, man. Yeah, you know, I think it's like the Brian Burns thing, right? It's the Brian Burns thing. Like when Brian Burns was killing those tackles in the preseason, people were really worried, rightfully so, as it turned out, about the Florida State offensive line. But it didn't mean Brian Burns wasn't really good. He had a great season. Not a lot of teams struggled blocking him. So I think it's the same deal here with man, $1,000. That's incredible. Good, you guys you're too much. But I think a lot of people are going to struggle blocking Jermaine Johnson. He is fast. He's twitchy. He's angular. Like he just looks the part, man. He just looks the part. They stand him up, but they stand him up where he's almost in a crouch. He's sometimes his hand is in the dirt, and it's not just flying off the edge too. When they did the inside running drills, where again the defense has an advantage because they know it's going to be an inside run, so they're not having to worry about being beat on the outside. But he was shedding blockers and making physical plays in the middle of the line. He was doing a little bit of everything, which I don't think he got the chance to do at Georgia too much. So yeah, man, if he stays healthy, this is much better than if he was being blocked easily. You signed up for a guy that could be an all ACC caliber future NFL defensive end, and if Robert Scott or Brady Scott or any Scott you want to throw out there was just handling him like he was, name a old Florida State defensive end that wasn't any good. Like if he was just a nobody, then that would be a problem. Who?
Craig Yarborough.
Yeah, if he was making them look like Yarbs, that's a problem. But no, he was dominating. He has been very, very hard to block.
What's going to happen to Kirby when Jermaine Johnson shows out? And then you let Justin Fields walk. You let Jermaine Johnson walk.
Same thing that's going to happen to Norvell when Warren Thompson goes for 60 catches for 1,200 with Arkansas next year.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, he did get the best out of Tamorrion Terry, but I don't think Warren Thompson is quite Tamorrion Terry. But maybe, you'll find yourself in Fayetteville. I don't know if you'll find Jesus, but you might find yourself in Fayetteville. Yeah. He's supposedly going to walk on, though. I don't know if that's like he's going to walk on and then be put on scholarship once his transfer goes through, or he's just going to be a walk on the whole entire time. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Kurt asks, will Warchant be doing a bracket for the tournament? We used to with Yahoo, but I don't know if we're still doing that.
Why wouldn't we do that if we could? You have to be a Warchant subscriber, and we could have we could even give away like a prize, like a grand prize for the winner. That'd be cool. How about one of those DeLuna tumblers. Show them that, or a free DeLuna. Yeah, look at that. You could win that. I think people probably want a little more than that, but we could figure out some swag to give the winner, and maybe just some cold hard cash, some gold, Guardian Gold gift cards. We could figure something out.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I know actually we are sponsored this week, actually the next 3 weeks, by MyBookie. Not like MyBookie, but the website MyBookie, which is weird because we're trying to do a lot of good for the community right now by getting all this money for Second Harvest. Not that gambling's a bad thing. Just be responsible.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with doubling your money.
Yeah. So
making a great bet and doubling it or tripling it.
And give it to Second Harvest. But if you go to mybookie.ag, I think that's like Aruba. They're offshore. But they do pay you money, cash. They'll send you cash. They want you to do Bitcoin, but everybody wants to do Bitcoin these days. But yeah, my buddies, man, who won the Super Bowl bet with the Bucks, where they put them on, early before the season even started, the Bucks were going to win the Super Bowl. Man, they had to dish over something like $300, I think, to get a cash check mailed to them. They're like, hey, will you take some crypto? Will you guys accept Bitcoin? My buddy's like, no, man, give me freaking American dollars. That's what I put into this account. My bookie doesn't charge you nearly that kind of exorbitant fee. Use the promo code Warchant. They'll match you up to $1,000. And March is when you make money. You parlay like 4 games, throw a dog or 2 in there, throw a 12 seed straight up. Maybe throw Georgetown if you think they're going to beat Colorado. I think maybe Tennessee or Oregon State's a hot 12 over 5 with Tennessee. Okay. Not buying that, but do that. I made my small fortune, which I used right before Dallin Cuff's wedding. Shout out, name drop. I think that was the North Carolina Villanova national championship game. I bet Nova straight up to win, and then also parlayed it with them covering the spread and them hitting the over. And they hit all of it. And I put like $400 and I won like 13.
What was the spread? Half a point? Because they won on a buzzer beater.
Well, no, but they were underdog though. So I put.
Okay, gotcha.
I only picked I picked them to cover and I picked them to win straight up. And that's when you will do that stuff. You can't do it anymore on Bovada. I think you can do it on MyBookie though. But yeah, check them out. We're at the 52-minute mark, so we're not that far into the weeds here. We are over $1,000. I think we're over 1,000. It says $1,000 raised. I would imagine if it was like $1,100, it would show us that. But
that's awesome. That and it's just cool that it's the Second Harvest, the Big Bend. It's a Big Bend charity that we started out with. A lot of them not all of them, but a lot of them are going to be centered in the Big Bend area because that's where we all live. Me part of the time, the other 4 people that work for Warchant all of the time, or 5 people. Our staff is ever growing. Right. But yeah, man, it means a lot. It means a lot that you guys are so gracious and generous. And again, there's nothing we even knew. We didn't even know this was a thing when we started this show. I had no idea that tipping was even a thing on YouTube. We certainly didn't get into it for that. Now that Aslan's got his house almost squared away, we can start giving back to the community, and it means a lot. It's not lip service. We really want to do that. It does mean a lot to Gene and I. Aslan, not so much. He's got other things, but Gene and I really do want to give back and help people out that are less fortunate than us and less fortunate than many of you. And I know you guys want to help out too. And the cool thing about Second Harvest is, like Gene said at the beginning of the show, the thing I worry the most about when I give to a charity is, man, where is this money really going? Is it what kind of score does this charity get? Am I being duped? Is this all going to the CEO? And it's just for overhead? No, this 100%. It got 100% on the websites that rank charity. And yeah, man, it's all like Aslan said, $2, just $2 feeds somebody in need.
500 meals. I mean,
yeah, we got 500 meals we've given so far, man. That's really neat.
You folks. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, I shouldn't say we. Yeah, you guys.
That's amazing. We really do appreciate it. I want to pull up the bracket, and then we'll talk a little baseball and we'll be on the way out here. I just want to kind of run through everything, man.
all right.
I don't want to run, maybe not run through everything, but
so the ACC, the highest seed was Virginia and Florida State, right? At a 4.
That sounds about right.
Tech was a 9, North Carolina was an 8, Duke didn't make it, right?
I don't even think they're on standby. Look at that. Gonzaga, Oklahoma, Missouri. I mean, Gonzaga comes out of there, right? Gonzaga comes out of there. Yeah,
they're not. They played Virginia before and beat them by 100. And Kansas, who's the 2 seed in that? Scroll down a little bit.
Iowa.
I mean, Iowa just doesn't guard well enough. I don't think they could beat. Gonzaga would have to play a really bad game. Iowa can score, They got some great shooters and a really good player down low in Garza. But yeah, Gonzaga, unless they play an awful game, should be. What's their record right now? What are they? I know they're undefeated. They should be 30-0 when they get to the Final Four.
All right. I will say West.
So they'd have to be.
West region. If you want to get froggy, pick a Pac-12 team. If you want to get froggy, if you want to get weird, I would pick a big. I mean, I know they're 6-11 with Southern Cal and Wichita State Drake winner, and then Oregon. I like my guy Dana Altman in Oregon and Andy Enfield at Southern Cal. I think they rise to the occasion. All right, East region. East region. I feel like LSU because they did play really good against Alabama, so they're this like kind of trendy thing right now. I'm going to say Iona. Rick Pitino is going to beat Alabama. I'm going to say that.
Wow. What? All right.
I'm big on Texas. I like Shaka. I think Shaka's found his groove. It's crazy. Like Shaka Smart, hot seat, wins his tournament. Patrick Ewing, hot seat, wins his tournament. There's another one that slips my mind. Everybody's been talking about all these guys that went into the season on the hot seat. Look at them now.
Well, Josh Pastner was on the hot seat.
Yeah, there you go. Pastner's another guy.
You liked him campaigning for Hamilton to get in the Hall of Fame. That was nice.
Man.
He said that twice before and after the game. Leonard Hamilton needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was nice of him to say it, before the game. I like for Leonard Hamilton to win these games instead of coaches being all gracious after they've beat his team like Roy.
Well, right. Well, they've won a few, and he did beat Roy a week later.
Yeah, beat Greensboro. I think you beat Colorado or Georgetown, and then you get. Sounds obvious. I guess Captain Obvious. I feel better about LSU than I do Michigan, but I'm not scared of either. But I don't. I would be surprised if they were made it to the Elite Eight. I think they'll make it out of the first weekend, but I don't know about the Elite Eight.
Yeah, look, man, it's all it's matchups and it's how you play. It is a sport where, again, 63 teams are going to leave unhappy. And there are a lot of really good teams that are going to leave, like Baylor, Gonzaga, or Michigan and Illinois. 3 of those teams aren't winning the national championship. Maybe all 4. And think about the expectations they have going into this thing. It's hard to win. So, and look, man, I don't want to be all, I don't want to be all sentimental. But at this time last year, our worlds had ended. Like our sporting worlds had ended. We did not know when it would start up again, if we'd get to watch sports again. And now, even in this different format with everybody in the same city, and half, whatever will be 4,000 people at these games, we are getting an NCAA tournament. So that is really cool, man. That's really cool, and I'm excited just to go watch it.
And I was going to tweet out, I'm like, the worst thing about the pandemic was the massive loss of life. Number 2, just seeing how ugly everybody was arguing about it. And then, number 3 was losing the NCAA tournament. Hurt, man. It hurt.
It was really it was the only thing that was really lost, right? Sports-wise, like the NBA came back and finished the season. The PGA still had their majors. Baseball still played, although you lost 100 games, but baseball still played. NFL obviously played. Yeah, it was the event that we didn't get to see. And it was Florida State's best ever team and a real shot to do something magical, and it was taken away. So that's painful. You'll never get it back, but hey, man, maybe this team will do something extra special.
I think again, I think this team should make us just appreciate Devin Vassell and Trent Forrest and Terrence Mann more. I know we all said the right things about those guys when they were here, but I really think the way that this team has kind of finished the season really does, prove just how valuable those guys were. They were battle tested. I don't know who on this team really is. I know MJ.
Well, no, you know who it is. The guy that is in that, I don't know, that he's up in that stratosphere with those guys, in my opinion. The guy that will be remembered along the lines of a Trent Forrest or a Terrence Mann, especially if he comes back next year, is Raekwon Gray. I think Raekwon Gray has worked himself into that pantheon where if he comes back next year, he's your senior leader. He's the guy you can count on for 17-8 and get you big buckets when you need it. That guy. Well, you can even do it here. Depending on how the next 2 weeks go, he might reach that pantheon. He has just had an incredible year. He has been. I'll say it again, Aslan. He's been the best Raekwon on the team.
You're right. Best one since the chef.
Yeah.
I'm going with Texas. I like Texas Tech. I don't want to say they're coming out of the South, but I like them upsetting a couple teams potentially on the way there. Yeah, I don't know. Chris Holtman, Ohio State. Don't trust you, man. Don't trust you. Baylor looks really
Hey,
good.
C.J. Walker, though. Good luck to C.J. Walker. I don't know if he's planning on coming back next year, but my man's in the tournament after the last time he played an NCAA tournament game would have been in the Elite Eight versus Michigan.
No.
And then he had to sit out a year, and then he played last year, and then got canceled. So cool for him to go through what the journey he's been on to now be a 2 seed and getting to play in an NCAA tournament. And leads the nation in free throw shooting.
Yeah. I think if Tennessee can make it past Oregon State, I think they'll be disruptive. But then they'll play, obviously Illinois. Illinois gets Loyola. They're not happy about that in the Lincoln.
No, they're getting Georgia Tech, man.
Woo! No.
As long as they let Georgia Tech defend like that, where they can smack and it don't matter, we're not calling it. They'll get Georgia Tech can get there. Georgia Tech's won like 8 or 9 in a row. They're hot. They're a good team, man. They were terrible to start the season, but they're a good team. There's no shame in losing to them. There's a shame in turning it over 25 times like a middle school team. That's where the shame was.
Let's take our last caller of the evening. They're calling us from, I think, Central Florida. It's a 407 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
Jay from Daytona Beach.
Oh, hey. Jay, we don't have our screener here, man, so I'm flying blind. I don't know who's calling. It's all good. I love you, though, man. What's going on?
It's all good, man. Just a little quick impromptu call for you guys. I don't know if you covered this already. It's kind of a quick 2-part question, but the first part of the question is if you guys were able to see Corey Wren in pads, and what was your impressions on his speed, and could he be a difference maker? And the second part of that question is try to put this tactfully. As a fan base, what can we see from the coordination of the defense to reassure us that we have, I don't want to say the right man for the job, but we have, that side of the ball where it needs to be to head in the direction that we want to go?
I saw your comment on our YouTube page about put up or shut up time. I saw it, Jay. I saw you putting it tactfully.
Hey, Aslan.
Hey.
The thing about that is, even going back to Harlan Barnett, when you guys do these interviews, we get these great explanations, and everything sounds great.
They're likable, right? They're likable guys, right, Jay?
But when the game starts, we see guys playing 15 yards back, and it's dude, the explaining and stuff, and liking these guys are cool, that they're great guys, but that defense needs to be coordinated, man. And we see it every Saturday. Other teams I don't want to say it's not that hard, but we see other teams that have an eighth of the resources that FSU have coordinate defense successfully. So
you're right.
I'll stop short and let you guys speak on that.
Or Corey Wren.
So in the pads, yeah, he can move. There was a play, we talked about it. It was a one-on-one with him and Travis Jay. I think Ira and I talked about it on one of the videos, maybe it was just he and I talking out there. He ran by Travis Jay, and this is no knock against Travis Jay, who was a very good athlete. He ran by him like he was standing still. It was a blur that, literally, I don't know that we've seen since. Just any name them, Dalvin, Kermit. This is elite speed, and it translated with the pads on. The problem was the ball was underthrown, and he just kept running as if, he'd already won the race, so why go try to make a play on the ball? And that's the kind of stuff that you need these young guys to understand that, okay, yeah, you were open. The ball's underthrown. Don't let it get intercepted because you don't stop and come back to the ball. But, yes, in that moment, you saw that speed. Now, it was straight ahead speed. And it was basically, he didn't do a stutter step. He didn't do an outside jab with his foot. He just went straight I'm going to run. You try to keep up with me. And Travis Jay couldn't. He ran right by him. It was probably 4 yards past him, but the ball was underthrown, I think, by Milton. And it almost ended up being intercepted. So the point being, yeah, man, that speed is real. I don't know because, again, they're not really tackling. He played mostly at wide receiver. And when he was playing at running back, it was only to run routes, like swing passes. And you couldn't really get a gauge of the speed, just the speed that he might be able to use from the slot. They didn't use him a lot in the slot, and they didn't do any reverses or anything with him. But just that one moment, that straight ahead speed moment, man, it was eye-opening. Like, oh man, this isn't just talk. This guy is the fastest guy on the team. It has to be one of the fastest guys in the country. Now we'll see if he's Kenny O'Neill and it never amounts to anything, or you name other guys, Marvin Bracey, or if it turns into like a real weapon on the offense. And for the other thing, man, yeah, like there were times last year, and you guys know, Jay, you would know, you listened. I was so fed up with what I was watching that he'd say these things like, yeah, I think it was Brendan Gant. Yeah, he's supposed to come up there and not let a guy just stand 2 feet in the end zone for a wide open touchdown and play behind him. And you want to be like, well, then why did he? Like, why did he then? Like, what's getting lost in the translation? And I might have asked that. Somebody might have asked, like, well, then how does that happen? How does it happen where you blitz a guy off the edge and have nobody in the area where he's vacated? Like, it's just, again, like you said, it wasn't like they were coordinated. So I don't know what we have to see to think that he's the right guy for the job, but I know what I can't see anymore, and it's stuff like that. And again, we are talking about a small sample size. Those first 2 days where we got to watch, the defense legitimately looked coordinated. There were no busted plays. The plays that Florida State made on offense were really good individual plays. Or bad tackling, or a guy got out of position, but it wasn't like the whole right side of the field was wide open. So that was reassuring, I guess, to a point. But again, we're in March, and it was 2 practices.
Well, by the way, Ad Dangby, I can't even pronounce his name. Is how much is YouTube taking out of the giving? None. Everything today, every penny is going to Second Harvest at the Big Bend. Every single penny. I know we're not a patient people. I'm not a patient person. I don't ever want to advocate for patience when it comes to Florida State football. I always think the next season ahead of us should always be competing for championships. This one is not going to be that way. Last year wasn't either. The year before that wasn't either, which is unbearable to think about. But Jay, we're at the end though, right? We're going to know. I mean, this season we're going to know whether or not Adam Fuller can hack it. And if he can't, he's gone. And if he can, then we kind of feel good probably about where we're at in 2022. And I don't know. I mean, Jay, for you listening to like Amari Gaynor and Emmett Rice talk about, I guess how much more, I don't want to say buy-in, but just it seems like the coaches know the players better. The players trust the coaches more. They are saying there is benefit in having the same language, the same terminology 2 years in a row. Although that said, they are having a little bit of a different mindset. It's like, I don't know if they're trying to say all the right things to us. I really don't think they're, at least not at this point in the season. I think they're being quite honest with us, but it sounds like, it's all the right things are being checked off. It's like there is consistency that is getting them better, but at the same time, they are trying different stuff to kind of turn the page. So I don't know, like, does that help alleviate any of your concerns when you hear the players saying what they're saying, or do you just simply think that's them just being good soldiers?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. I just think as a fan base, we're concerned, not just me, unfortunately. And it almost feels like you're on your second stepdad or something like that. And he's saying all the right things, but it's only a matter of time before,
before Notre Dame jumps out to a 14-0 lead on you in the first quarter, then it's like, here we go again, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your stepdad started drinking again, or this one drinks too, or he yelled at me because I spilled paint in the garage. I get it, man. You're burned. I'm burned as a media member. Like there's nothing to believe in right now with this defense through 2 games. I think there's some skill there, and you hope. Like at this point, Jay, right? It almost doesn't matter what the players say, right? It's you got to prove it to you on the field, right? That's where I think you're not alone. I think that's the majority of the Florida State fan base.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm with you, buddy.
Where are we going?
I like Adam Fuller, and the players are saying all the right things. But I guess I could be swayed a little bit by what we see in the spring game, but it's not going to matter. I'll know where I stand on him and this defense 3 weeks into September.
There we go. He said it.
Hey, good enough, guys. As far as the tournament goes, I really hadn't been following basketball that heavily, checking in on them every now and then. But when I do, I seem to be bad luck for them, so I try to stay away. And I almost feel like kind of last year when I was talking to you guys, and you guys were like, "Oh, we got the #1 defensive line in the country." And it's like, as soon as you said that, like our defensive line fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So to that, I'll just say, you guys are doing a great. That's a great job you guys are doing with the Second Harvest Food Bank. Great cause. Drink that DeLuna coffee and go Noles.
That's right. That's right. It's
All right, Jay. Good work, buddy.
And bringing the heat as he does per usual. He's our last caller of the night. Let's land this bad boy. But first,
we are sorry, but the show has ended. Goodbye.
Did you have any opinion on the South bracket, Corey, or the Midwest rather? You got Illinois, chalky?
No, but I do think Syracuse is a team to watch. They're playing well. They lost on a buzzer beater to Virginia, who, hey, man, if you're going to test positive for COVID, how about missing that shot? Then Syracuse could have kept playing. But they got in anyway, and they've altered their lineup a little bit. The Boeheim, by the way, Jim Boeheim is like 77 years old, and he's got a kid in college. It just dawned on me this weekend. I knew that was his son.
I still have a chance.
Boeheim's been coaching since I was 5 years old, and he's got a kid. Yeah, he said he had to have had that kid when he was 55 years old. So good work, Jim. But I think that's a team that could make a run maybe to the Sweet 16. They're always tough to prepare for, and that could, now I say that they'll lose to San Diego State, I'm sure, but I just think that's a team that's tough to prepare for, and they got some guys that can play. Hey, before we get out of here, let's talk about number one.
Well, we'll talk about baseball. I just want to. I was going to go somewhere with this, but I've already forgotten. You've already thrown me off my pivot point. I don't think I'm going to pick any ACC team to make it out of the first weekend, other than maybe Florida State.
Okay.
I don't like this conference, man. I just don't like it this year.
I know you don't. That's why all 7 are advancing.
Okay.
All 7. There's going to be 7 of the Sweet 16. Clemson somehow is going to manage. Virginia Tech. Carolina's going to pull off the upset of I think they get Baylor?
Baylor, yeah, they do. Yeah.
If they win. I mean, there's no guarantee they're beating Wisconsin, but if they do, they get Baylor. That's not a great – like Baylor will win that game almost assuredly. But Carolina's – man, they got 4 dudes that all they do is throw the ball off the glass and go get it. And North Carolina can wear you down. So we'll see. But, yeah, they're probably rolling out their Roys, probably not getting to the Sweet 16. But what I was going to say is we'll get to baseball, but the softball team took 2 out of 3 from number 2 Arizona. Those are big, big wins. And there's some players on that team that still haven't really found their stride yet at the plate. And when they do, man, that team might really take off because it sure seems like the pitching is coming around. And then because the only game they lost was 1-0 to Arizona. And then, the women's tennis team is number 7 in the country. Florida State right now has 2 golf teams, the men and women, that are both ranked number 1 in the country, which is that probably hasn't happened a lot.
Beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball undefeated, or they won 9 in a row, and they're probably going to be number 1 in the country when the next rankings come out. So Florida, the men's indoor track team finished 6th at the indoor nationals, and that was without I think his name is Kassan James, who had a chance to win the 60 and the 200, and he didn't compete. So if he'd have competed, they might have finished 2nd or 3rd. The women's team finished in the top 15-ish. So, man, they're ranked. Every sport on campus is crushing it, except, football. But it's getting there. It's getting there. The Travis Hunters are coming back. And then on to baseball. Man, that's a good series win. That's 2 in a row after what – by the way, Pitt took 2 out of 3 at number 7 Georgia Tech this weekend. So Pitt's the real deal, man. They're not – that was not a fluke. There's no shame in losing a series to them. You just, you don't like getting swept at home. But
last week it was number 16 Virginia. This week it was number 18 Virginia Tech at Blacksburg. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and look, those were real baseball crowds. Like that wasn't like a norm. Those people were into it. They were loud. That's a pretty tough place to play. And for Florida State to win 2 of 3 and put up whatever they put up, 14 runs. Our man Tyler Martin had 5 hits. Robbie Martin had a grand slam. And then the story of the weekend is Meat was just fed up obviously after Saturday. He's like, I'm tired of watching us not hit. They had 3 hits, got shut out. And he's like, it struck out 10 times, I think. So he went with Parker Messick, who's their best pitcher, Friday night ace, who had never hit, batted him in the 6th hole, I think, as a DH. And all he did was homer in his first at bat and ended up with 3 hits.
Oppo.
Oppo. And easy. It was an Oppo shot, and the dugout knew it was gone when he hit it. I'm like, what is this guy doing batting practice for them to know an opposite field fly ball is going to go that far? That's impressive. He must hit mammoth shots in batting practice.
And he said he had no idea. I asked him, he said that he had no idea he was going to be in the game until BP started, and he saw his name on the line at batting 6th hole.
Yeah, man, that's
night. It was just like
that's Meat just being like, I'm tired, like almost like
fed up.
Yeah, just fed up and saying we're trying something else. And then he hit the Wyatt Crowell kid too. He's the relief pitcher that Meat has really high on. He batted him 8th, I think. Like he really changed up the lineup. Matt Nelson batted cleanup and hit a home run in the first inning. So good win, a good win for a team that we were really wondering about after the loss to Pitt.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, that was a really hostile crowd. Meat even said in post game today that he said he told his staff that he wanted that win today as badly as any game that he's had in years. Like that's how, and he mentioned like the things that they said in the crowd. They really, really were on Tyler all weekend long, but they shut up after his first at bat on Sunday because they got down early. I mean, he started all off. He led the game off with a double. That kid is so good. I'm not a big baseball guy. I know I talk about it a lot on the show, but I'm really not. I don't understand the intricacies of baseball and all that good stuff, man. But that kid is fun to watch because he just battles, man. He does not swing at garbage. He works. He earns every at bat, every out that a team gets on Florida State with Tyler Martin at the plate. Like they have to earn that thing. And he's scrappy as hell, man. It was crazy because they were chirping on Saturday. I think the first run they scored was a guy was on third, ground ball to third. Logan Lacey threw it home, and Matt Nelson couldn't gather it, and he kind of got run over. And they scored the first run, and it was their center fielder, Virginia Tech, and he stood over Matt Nelson for like a good 2-3 seconds, and like from then on, it was on. At Virginia Tech's third base coach was yapping at Meat. It was crazy, man. I haven't even seen them have that kind of animosity with Florida, and then they come back and win the way they did on Sunday, man. That was awesome. And there was a moment where Tyler Martin almost got trucked on a just a routine ground ball. The first, the throw was a little bit off, so he had to almost go into the base path. But then when he caught the third out of that inning, he started chirping. Tyler did, and as he's walking down the steps in the dugout, the crew in Virginia Tech, like Meat grabbed him by the arms, like shook him, and was like, "We're not doing that." Like it was. So it's crazy because like Meat's got that that blank and vinegar in him, but he also does things the right way. Like they don't do all the shenanigans. And then Parker Messick said on the bus ride when we were speaking to him, just like we're not the team you do that to. We showed everybody on Sunday that you don't do that to Florida State. So
yeah, man, it's impressive too. It's galvanizing. It can be galvanizing when you're in an environment like that, and to win 2 of 3 up there when they're doing all that stuff. Shows you that you got a heart, a little what for, and maybe it's something to build on. I think it is. Their only game they lost, when they lose games, they get shut out and they're not close. So they figure that out. Like, why waste any runs when you're going to lose anyway? So they just go ahead and put up a goose egg. But yeah, man, to win 2 out of 3 against 2 good teams, back-to-back weekends, and then now they got Florida on Tuesday. Carson Montgomery getting the first start in who knows 3 weeks. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, that's a good weekend for meeting the boys.
Yeah, and then one quick thing too. Friday, man, they were down in the 8th inning. He takes Cabell out, pinch hits Logan Lacey, and Logan Lacey hits a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning. So, like, I think Meat finally, kind of got his groove back too, in the way he pushed the buttons on Sunday. So all these people that panic, man, he's been doing it for a while. He seems. I'm
sure they'll come as soon as they lose again, but I didn't get any nepotism tweets this weekend. They only come out when they lose series.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap for us. I think we are in 5 days a week mode because it is football season. Kind of, it's spring football, but there's not practice tomorrow, so I don't know what we're going to do. But we'll be around. There's basketball, obviously, the tournament, man. Hopefully we'll have some tip-off time so we can start playing these things. Maybe we'll have a one-on-one. Maybe we can get Raekwon Gray. Maybe we'll get Raekwon Evans. Maybe we can talk to him. Maybe we can work it out together as a family. Figure out what's going on, maybe turn the page and get ready for the tournament.
Build them up. We'll build them up. Like, dude, this is your last shot at the postseason. You could be cutting down a net. You got to start playing with some confidence, my man. You're Raekwon effing Evans.
Let's go. All right, that's a wrap. Everybody, thanks so much for your support, especially those who donated and contributed rather, to Second Harvest of the Big Bend.
Is that the final tally?
It says, I don't think it's showing like a specific dollar amount, like over, it just says like 1,000. So I don't know if we're like at 1,100 or if we're like 1,200, if we're at 1,025 or something like that. But nonetheless, just rest assured that literally every single penny that you see on that screen is going directly to that charity, and all those dollars from that charity are going to instantly impact people's lives in the Big Bend. It's not going to overhead. To Corey's point, it's not going to be part of a year-end bonus for a CEO. It's going to help feed and stabilize families and people that are struggling here in the Big Bend. So we couldn't do without you folks. I think Corey said it multiple times, like we never knew that these super chats were a thing. It's gone and helped out some other stuff for your guy here, but today it's all about the other folks, man. So it's super awesome. And 65 likes. Hit the like on the way up or the way out, rather. Yeah, it just says 1,000 raised. I don't know. I think we're pretty sure we're over it. Some anonymous person just donated $50. It's great, man. It's fantastic. All right, we're done then, Corey. I'm going to stop babbling.
Okay.
Although I had a stat because I didn't do my tweet or my thread title, didn't click it. I got a weird tweet. This comes from Tyler Griever. I used to work with him. He's in Louisville now. This is the first NCAA tournament to not feature Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville, and Western Kentucky since 1965.
He threw Western Kentucky in there, huh?
Because local TV.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I was going to say, what? One of these doesn't belong with the other ones.
Everybody in the viewing area. All right, we'll catch up with y'all folks later. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for contributing to Second Harvest of Big Bend and being fueled by DeLuna Coffee at DeLunaCoffee.com.